Hey guys, Bound here, and today I'm going to be showcasing some games that shows really the strength of Tinkaton in this metagame. Now, personally, I like to run a Covert Cloak on Tinkaton because I think it's really good against like a lot of playstyles in general. Because first of all, I think the most important thing about it is that it allows Tinkaton to switch into Soul Cure without getting chipped every turn, and the reason why it's really hard to deal with that is because if you switch into Salt Cure and then the Garganacl can switch out and then you'll still get chipped by Salt Cure. So Covert Cloak adds a lot of value there, and then also it's really good at preventing Lumina Crash secondary effects, so like Espathra can't break through me with Lumina Crash, and then also like chilling water from Toxpex or something can't really work. So situations like that become really useful because of Covert Cloak, and you'll see how that affects the game moving forward. In this match, I actually lead off with the Scarlet, and I also have my Tinkaton and my Haxorus. Now, the reason why I have both of those Pokemon is because Tinkaton and Haxorus are really good setup bonds, and they both have Mold Breakers, so it's just really... So like the only setup I have on my team is with Mold Breaker because of Unaware, so that's really like how I wanted to do it. Yeah, so I lead off with Scarlet because I was thinking, okay, he might have a Moongus, lead off with the Moongus to try and Spore, and then that can basically allow him to set up with something else on his team. But he leads off with the Garganacl, and basically I didn't want to stay in with Scarlet because of this situations like this. He can just Tera Flying to resist my close combat that would have threatened his rock typing. And yes, having a switch into Soul Cure is just so useful. It's crazy. So if I didn't have Covert Cloak, I would have already like taken like around 30 or 40% of my health. So it just helps so much there. But anyway, we do go for the Encore because I don't want him to try. I don't want to Swords Dance immediately, and then he goes for like something like a Fissure, right? And then he can basically potentially hit the Fissure, and then we lose a really big win condition. So I just Encore him into that because it's way more consistent than just risking a Fissure. So, or a potential Fissure, because we don't really know completely, but yeah. And then now that he's Encored into the Soul Cure, since Soul Cure is like a 12-hit KO at that range, right? He's not gonna... I'm completely fine with doing that. And then I just Swords Dance here, because yeah, I can just do it for free now that he's locked into Soul Cure. And now he's really thinking, because the really good thing about Tinkaton and Encore is that Tinkaton's a fast setup Pokemon, at least faster than all the bulky Pokemon, which is really a really good trait to have, in my opinion. And then combined with Swords Dance, it can reach high power very quickly because +2 attack every time. And it allows Tinkaton to actually be an offensive threat, which is amazing. I really like this set a lot, and I'm glad I started using it because in the past I used to run Life Orb, which didn't achieve the consistency that this set does. And the funny part is, when I reached rank 2, I actually beat 3 straight Ghost Tera Garganacl to get there. It was crazy. Tinkaton showed up. It's actually insane. But anyway, he does switch into the Toxpex on my Gigaton Hammer. I just wanted to see what he would do in this situation and what he would have in the back, because I don't want to just risk like setting up and then he just has like a counter, right? So I want to do the damage, and then that forces him to recover. And this is perfect because then I can Encore him into the recover. And that basically forces him to play differently. And this is what I've been talking about with forcing the opponent to play a certain way. And I have multiple Pokemon on my team to that do that, because you're forcing them to play a certain way, and then you basically punish them with a surprise. And this is, you know me, I love surprising my opponents. You saw the Kilowattrel. If you see my other videos, you've seen my Terra Ice Kilowattrel and how it lures out Garchomps and then just completely destroys them. And it's just like, it just completely helps my team and its consistency. because it allows me to just get consistent, like the same play over and over, and then helps my teammates as well because Garchomp's gone. So yeah, he does haze there. So what happened there was Encore, and then he had Mental Herb. So he got rid of the Encore immediately, and then he just hazed off my Swords Dances. So at that point, I just wanted to switch out. He actually just goes for the Toxic Spike. So Toxic Spikes, Haze, and Recover is what we know, which is completely fine for my Haxorus, because I can just Dragon Dance up once, and then I'm already a huge threat to his team. I don't think he would. I was thinking he wouldn't go for Haze immediately, like on the same turn that I Dragon Dance. So like I'm just gonna go for it. And the really good thing about this situation now is that he has the Tera flying out on Garganacl, and that allows me to do Tera Blast Electric and then just completely destroy his team, because Toxpex gets destroyed by it, Flying Tera Garganacl gets destroyed by it, and then he doesn't have a switch in either, like a good switch in, because I guess Avalug's decent, but I have other options to deal with it. And then Cloudsire gets destroyed by Earthquake, and then Amoonguss kind of just gets destroyed. So yeah, and then so he brings in the Garganacl, and here is where I bring out the Tera Electric, and I go for Tera Blast. And this is where the set just comes in clutch right here. Because the coverage is just insane. Provides so many super effective hits for me, which is something I like. And Tera Electric is not just good for this situation, it's really good against Toxpex, it's good against Dondozo, it's good against Corviknight, and it's good against Azumarill as well. So yeah. He actually lives that and tries to fissure out my Haxorus, but luckily I do avoid the fissure, but it was in my favor to avoid it. But I don't blame him for going for the only win condition that he had at that point, because I don't know how his team is supposed to take out Haxorus immediately. So yeah. At this point, it's a way more comfortable situation for me. He tries to switch in Toxpex to potentially like get a haze off on my Dragon Dance, but I could just really click Tera Blast and not really care about anything. So I can just Earthquake here, because why not? I can literally just click any move and be fine. So Haxorus is just really solid. Like Lumberry too, so it's like a safety net against like Toxpex is toxic, or like let's say I'm fighting against a Skeledirge, you can't, like, Yawn is basically a free turn for me because of Lumberry, so it could potentially be 2 free turns depending on the situation, actually. So that's like really solid that I can just deal with that. And then also Skeledirge Will-O-Wisp can get rid of, or can activate the Lumberry as well. So yeah, he just goes for Psychic Toss. He can't Thunderwave me because I'm electric type now, and that's just nothing he can do now. So Haxorus is just insane. And Tinkaton, like, can't, like, usually Tinkaton is like really good against these teams, but Haxorus is also a really solid option because of the just stall breaking capabilities that it has, and then also the raw attack is 147, which is already like a threatening, like extremely threatening. And Haxorus like is like not one of those like Dragon Suit legendaries, but its attack and speed are just good enough to get the job done, and this is exactly what it shows right here. Because Dragon Dance can just help it just become insane. So yeah, I'll see you all in the next game. So our next opponent here has Garchomp, Skeledirge, Kingambit, Dragonite, Goldengo, and Spathra. So here I bring Tinkaton, Serena, and Gastrodon. And the reasoning behind that is because Tinkaton is really good at disrupting some of the lead stuff that he wants to do. And then a defensive core is really nice to have in this team because of how offensive it is. So yeah, we'll see what we can do here. And yeah, so he does lead off with the Espathra here. Now, The good thing about this is that Tinkaton's Covert Cloak allows it to basically Lumina Crash. If he decides to do that, he can't break through it because Covert Cloak prevents the special defense drops from actually coming into effect here. So yeah, I just Swords Dance up pretty much for free at this point. And the reason why I Swords Dance turn 1 is because if he also tries to opt for a setup, I could just Encore him. If he goes for a substitute and then wants to set up, I can still Encore him behind a substitute. So this matchup is really good for Tinkaton here. Especially with the Covert Cloak preventing Lumina Crash from actually even doing much. So I just go for the Gigaton Hammer just in case he wanted to switch out, and then I would just nuke whatever comes in. Yeah. But he just stays in, and he actually has the Focus Ash, which I did not expect, but interesting because he does get the third, I think it was the second speed boost. So he's baton passing, and he baton passes two speed boost. And this is where I kind of messed up here, because he brings in the Dragonite as I go for knockoff, because I can't go for Gigaton Hammer, because I just went for it the last turn. So this can be a little bit annoying, right? Because, well, the issue is that I didn't realize he baton passed. I just didn't catch that. He baton passed 2 speed boost onto the Dragonite. So what I could have done is Tera Flying to avoid the Earthquake, because now his Dragonite is faster than my Tinkaton, which is a little bit unfortunate, but that's just how it's going to have to go. Yeah. He does go for the Earthquake. So if I went for Tera Flying and then knocked it out, that would have been a way better situation for me. But you'll see how I pick up the pieces after this unfortunate death from Tinkaton here. But yeah. So I bring out the Serena because it's physically defensive and it can threaten play rough. And then also, if he tries to attack me, Rocky Helmet will just punish him for it. So he goes for the Roost there, which is fine. I threaten him with the super effective move to maybe condition him into one Tera, the Dragonite, which then can get rid of its ground immunity. So it makes Earth Power Gastrodon more spammable. You can't just switch it in on Earth Power, which is also a plus. So he actually does Tera here on the Dragonite here. And he goes Tera Normal, which, you know, I'm sure you've ran into Tera Normal Dragonite before. It's like really common Tera type because Extreme Speed becomes powerful and it's a priority move, so you can kind of spam that, but not against Serena, because Serena has Rocky Helmet and then it has max defense. So I just go for the play rough, because just in case he didn't Tera, but he does. And then now that he's into the normal type, I can go for a super effective low kick, as he does go for the Roost. And since Dragonite is relatively heavy, low kick does good damage. It threatens a 2-hit KO, and it does more than what Roost does. So that's really good for me. Low kick is just a nice consistent option against like heavy Pokemon, and also like steel types mainly, but pretty much every steel type is like heavy. So like high jump kick can miss, which is why I don't really like it that much. And then the penalty is also pretty annoying. So I just go for Synthesis just to see what he wants to do mainly. As he does switch into Skeledirge. So this is actually good, because Gastrodon is a really good answer to Skeledirge, and he can't Tera the Skeledirge either because he already Tera'd the Dragonite. So yeah, like any hopes of him having Tera Grass are gone, because I've ran into Tera Grass Skeledirges that ruined my Gastrodon today, and it was just not fun. But we're fine now, because yeah, he just Torch Songs. Gastrodon's especially defensive, so he's kind of just take it extremely well. And yeah, I can just threaten an Earth Power because he has no immunity now that Dragonite is not immune to ground. So he substitutes here, and yeah, Earth Power just easily breaks that. So think about this: if I had Tinkaton still out, if I would have Tera Flying against the Dragonite and beat the Dragonite with Tinkaton, knockoff would have just destroyed this thing as well, or at least like put it down to red, which like Tinkaton would have done so much work, dude. It's actually insane. But Tinkaton still opened the door for my team, the rest of my team, to finish it off, which is great. And you'll see how the game ends here. So now I'm just going to Earth Power because he can't switch into it, and then also Skeletor just takes a ton, over half for sure from it. So yeah, as I thought that he couldn't switch into it, he switches in Dragonite. It still gets hit by Earth Power, but you know, sometimes the pseudo legendary stats are just too much. It can take hits that you might not expect, as well as being an offensive threat. So that's just unfortunate. But the good thing is he's forced to roost, or else he's pretty much in risk of dying, right? So this is where I go for the yawn, free yawn, like pretty much. And now he's going to be forced to switch out, or just fall asleep on Dragonite. And yeah. And this is what I was talking about forcing the opponents to play a certain way, because if he loses his Dragonite, he can't really break through my Gastrodon. And then also, so this is where I just get a free Earth Power off, because he either sacks the Espathra or the Skeledirge. He decides to sack off the Espathra, which is fine. Earth Power is just going to KO that. So he does bring in the Dragonite here, and he's not drowsy anymore. So now I'm forced to bring out the Serena again, and yeah, we're gonna see what he does here, because Serena like more than enough walls this thing. But I actually go for a spicy little play, and you'll see that in a second. He just goes for the extreme speed because that's his most strong move with Terra Normal that he has on his set specifically. So I'm actually going to go for the Trop Kick here, and you'll see why I do that, because I'm going to force him to basically lose a Pokemon here. So I lower his attack with Trop Kick. I switch out to Gastrodon because now he's -1, so he can't threaten my Gastrodon too much now that he's weakened. And then I can go for a Yawn. He actually turns out to be Encore there, which is a lucky dodge there. But we do I mean, either way, it works out. And then Yawn. So now that he's -1 and drowsy, it's going to be really hard for him to just stay in. And so he is now forced to switch out to the Skeledirge, and then I can just Earth Power. So that's what he realizes, and now he has no options, so he just does forfeit right there. So just nice control over the pace of the match right there from Gastrodon and Serena. And yeah, I'll see you all in the next game. Alright guys, I am back, and this match doesn't feature Tinkaton, but it just showcases some really other well uses of my team. So we have Kilowattrel, Gastrodon, and Scarlet against this team, because Scarlet is good against Volcarona. It's a good wall breaker, has Shadow Snake to weaken out Dragapult, and then, or just like, what's it called? Revenge kill, or just like clean up, basically. And then also, Kilowattrel can outspeed the whole team except for Dragapult and control the game. And then also Terra Ice seems really good because it can destroy Dragapult and it can destroy the Mudsdale. And so I was thinking, I was kind of like, because the thing about this team is that Tinkaton doesn't get much value. So the way I would have to deal with Dragapult is Terra Ice on the Kilowattrel, but that can also be kind of a risk because Dragon Darts can KO through my Focus Sash if it's like an offensive Dragapult. If it's like a bulky Dragapult or like a not like physical Dragapult, then it's completely fine. So, and I think it's worth the risk as well because I can still win with Gastrodon and Cerulege if I just play it right. But here I'm just gonna go for Tera Blast here. Tera Ice, Tera Blast. And this is where we find out that he can't, he's threatened out by my Kilowattrel. So he might just see my Tera Blast coming, or he just doesn't have any options. So, and he actually switches into Mudsdale, so this is just insane. This is why Ice is just such a good complementary coverage move on Kilowattrel, because it would have just covered both of these options. It's just insane. So like, that's just a free 2-hit KO on Mudsdale, which is excellent. So Tera Blast, Ice comes out, and yeah, just does insane damage. Look at that. So he does get the Citrus Berry right there, which is completely fine, but Tera Blast does 75% of his health, so pretty much threatens a KO anyway, regardless of the situation. So yeah, Mudsdale's gone, and that's really good for my Scarlet, because Scarlet doesn't have an annoying switch in anymore. So this is just perfect. And then he brings in the Toxtricity, so this is a free Volt Switch, because yeah, I can just click it and then bring out my Gastrodon. But this is where I actually changed my plans mid-turn, because he actually tears into the normal Toxtricity. So I'm just thinking he's gonna go for a Boom Burst all out, just like insane damage hit, which could potentially 2-hit KO Gastrodon if he's like Choice Specs, Terra Normal, and Boom Burst, right? And so that's where I bring in Scarlet here, and he could think I'm Volt Absorb, so he probably doesn't want to go for the electric move. So he either goes for Boom Burst or Sludge Wave, and Scarlet has no problem switching into those, and then he just has no options. So this is just insane. But yeah, I'll see y'all next game. So here we have Excalibur, King Gambit, Meowscarada, Dragapult, Rotom Wash, and the Skeledirge. So the reason why you might think I want to bring Gastrodon in this game, because it deals with Skeledirge and stuff. But Caxxus is also a really good option, because Lumberry prevents Yawn and Will-O-Wisp, and then I can Dragonance Mold Breaker through the Unaware. And then I can also switch into it too, with the plus. And I feel like if I were to bring Gastrodon, it would just be too passive in against this team, because of how offensive, like how much it threatens the Gastrodon. So I just decided not to bring it this game. But I lead off with the Tinkaton here. Just to disrupt any setup he might want to do. And now I'm actually threatened by this, because he can actually trick me. Now I don't want to get tricked against or I don't want to get a choice item on my Tinkaton, because then it kind of defeats the purpose of it. But he actually, yeah, so he goes for Taunt there, which is also okay. Because yeah, so now I can just threaten him with a Play Rough, because if he switches into Dragapult, he'll take a lot. If he switches into Excalibur, he'll take a lot. And then if he stays in, he'll also take a lot himself, because he locked himself in the dark. And then he also, so yeah, Skeledirge does come out, which is completely fine. We can switch into Haxorus and be fine, because Torch Song doesn't do much, and then also he can't status me. So yeah, we'll see what he ends up doing here, and he actually is going to go for the Torch Song, which is completely fine, because it doesn't do much. And then I can just Dragon Dance here, because I can take another Torch Song, I can take a status, so why not? This is why Mold Breaker is just so insane. The Redden's unaware, and he knows that it's Mold Breaker too. So that's why he's forced to yawn, because I might just set up in his face. So I Earthquake here because it gives me a free turn, because Lumberry is just going to get rid of the sleep that comes after this turn, right? So I'm in a completely really good position. Rotom just dies to Earthquake. Also, again, because of Mold Breaker, allowing me to just super effectively hit the Rotom Wash with Earthquake. Like, this is insane, right? And then the Lumberry gets rid of the Yawn, which is absolutely amazing. And then, so now he's gonna bring in the Meowscarada, and I am a little threatened out because he could just so like when I saw the taunt, that led me to believe he is running a Focus Sash. So I want to switch in Serena to Rocky Helmet him out of the Focus Sash, which can help me later on. And then I double switch because he could just switch in the, like, doubling into Tinkaton is risk free pretty much, because Meowscarada can't threaten me with any damage, and then also his Skeletor, I can Tera on the Skeletor basically, and get rid of the Torch Song, like, super effective hit, because Haxorus and Serena do not need the Tera in this game. Tinkaton gets the most value in my opinion. So here I go for the Tera, and I go for knockoff, because just in case he wants to yawn me, I can just get damage and then switch out. So I get the knockoff, doesn't do much. He has heavy duty boots, and that's definitely max defense Skeletors right there. I'm actually surprised, yeah, I mean, I tear it out of the fire weakness, right? So it's not going to really threaten that much. So here I go for a Swords Dance, since I can live another Torch Song, and I could just use that to, like, potentially get damage. And this is where I bait him, because I already showed him, or he knows that I can potentially, or actually wait, I don't think I showed Encore yet. Yeah, I didn't show Encore. But yeah. Okay, wait, I'm thinking too ahead right now. So I Encore him into the Slack Off, right? And this is where I condition him, because I Encored him. He thinks I want to set up. Okay, well, I don't think it was this turn. So I Gigaton Hammer here, and then he's locked into Slack Off, right? And so now that he's locked in, I can Swords Dance up because he's locked in, and I can just abuse Encore forever since I'm faster than it. So yeah, I can just get to +6 real easily. So I Swords Dance again, and he knows I'm at +4 right now. So he knows I can potentially just get to max, and this is where I trick him right here, because he thinks I just want to Swords Dance the third time. And I do the Gigaton Hammer, and he switches out. Because, yeah, he could have just gotten like that for free, and that would have been bad, because I could have gone for another Encore after that previous one ended, and that's what he was hoping what I would do. So this game isn't over yet, and so his last Pokemon is the Skeletor, right? But I have to be really careful, because one, he can Tera Fairy and get rid of my knockoff super effective hit, and the other option is that he can there's other Tera options as well, so I don't want to risk anything. But he does just go for Torch Song, and Serena pretty much does nothing at this point, because it doesn't really, like, it has no options to get Skeletor, so I sack it off. You might think that the Torch Song like booster annoying might be kind of bad to let them get those for free, but in reality it doesn't matter, because of what happens here. Because at the end of the day, Tinkaton still dies to any hit from the range it's at, and then Haxorus still lives a Torch Song. even if he's +2, since he's physically defensive and not offensive, it's fine. Okay. So I bring in my Haxorus here, and this is where I have multiple options to win, because he does go ahead and yawn there, which kind of lets Haxorus KO, and I'm glad, by the way, I'm glad I'm out of it, because I probably wouldn't have KO'd there. So Adam is just helping me get the raw damage out that I needed, which is excellent. But I'm just gonna say something right now. If Haxorus, or if the Skeledirge Terra'd into a fairy type to resist my Haxorus options, or just like get rid of the super effective hit, Tinkaton would have threatened it with a Gigaton Hammer anyway. So that's why I wanted to save Tinkaton, because I've been seeing a lot of Fairy Tera Skeledirge. So yeah, that's gonna do it for this video. I really appreciate the comments, by the way, on my last video, the montage video that I did. It really helps a lot, and the support, I always appreciate it. So yeah, I'll be uploading more content this year for sure. I'm excited for another year full of content, right? I'm gonna keep pushing, gonna try and get Rick 1 someday. I know I can do it. I know that it'll eventually come. I just gotta keep playing. And you know, Series 2 is just around the corner. It's gonna be out in February 5th, I think. February 1st, I think. So what I plan to do is use the same team that I've been using, but just to make some minor tweaks, because none of the Pokemon in this series, what I should say is all the Pokemon in this series are going to be usable in the next series, so I still have to look out for them. But it's just going to be the addition of the 14 Paradox Pokemon, and 14 is what I believe the amount to be. But I'm just going to add some minor tweaks like Terra types and some minor moveset tweaks, maybe some EV tweaks depending on the situations. But yeah, that's probably the next content I'll be doing. The next video I might do is like talking about how my team can do against the Paradox Pokemon, because that metagame is approaching pretty fast, and I want to be ready for when that comes out. So yeah. Anyways, hope you all enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a great day. Peace.